Today we're going to talk about one of our favorite celebs, Joe Rogan. We had to do an episode on him because he's had a hair transplant and not many people know this.
I had a hair transplant. That was the dumbest thing I've ever done.
Welcome to the Good Locks Docs podcast.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the Good Locks Docs podcast. I'm Dr. Asi Peretz.
And I'm Dr. Eric Peretz. Today we're going to talk about one of our favorite celebs, Joe Rogan. We had to do an episode on him because he's had a hair transplant and not many people know this.
That's true everybody. Bro Jogan had his first hair transplant when he was just 26 years old. In fact, he's had 3 of them.
And that's before he just said fuck it and shaved it all off.
I had hair transplants. And I had my first one, I think, when I was like 26. I had 3 of them.
Why? Why so young? Just because you were
Because my hair was falling out. I was fucking freaking out.
So let's talk a little bit about his hair loss journey and why he's had 3 hair transplants and he's still shiny bald.
Let's look at some of Joe Rogan's old photos and see his progression. If you look here, the first photo, I think he was about 19 years old. He looks at this point a Taekwondo champion, which is what he was. And you can see he's got quite pronounced temporal recessions. If you look at the next photo, he's a little bit older there. And he's either got a great hairstyle that's covering it up, or that is already when he's had his first hair transplant.
Yeah, and I think that was where he had his first hair transplant.
I agree with you. And as you can see, it actually looks quite good. Our next photo, Joe Rogan, probably around the same time. Still, hair looks good. He's got a good hairstyle that's covering up those temporal recessions. And if we go and fast forward and look at Joe Rogan when he's on Fear Factor, now we can see his hair loss is getting quite pronounced and he's just trying to plug it up with more and more and more hair transplants. And I think, at this point, we would probably advise him to shave his hair because, not every man is as beautiful as Joe Rogan is. He's a handsome guy, very masculine. A shaved head would suit him from the get-go. So why does Joe Rogan not currently have any hair on his head? Why is the guy shiny bald? I mean, he's had 3 hair transplants. Let's take a look at what the reasons may be that Joe Rogan has not maintained his hair.
26 is a really young age to have a hair transplant.
True.
People who start losing their hair at a young age generally progress to becoming Norwood 6s and Norwood 7s in the future. Because of this, we like to start with an initial medical therapy and then go to the more invasive procedures.
Yeah, guys, so generally we like to start with finasteride and minoxidil, and Joe actually has a bit on this where he says how finasteride did not work for him at all. Let's have a listen.
I think people that take Propecia and stuff I think you're fucking your body up with that stuff. I take it.
I don't take that.
I think that stuff's terrible. So you get on that stuff, it inhibits DHT, so your hair stops falling out and it grows back a little bit. But it also fucks with your body, your energy levels. Dude, for me...
For some people, right?
This is what... Yes, for me. For me, it wasn't very good for my boners. I still got them, but this is what happened. I stopped taking it because I ran out of it, and I forgot to get a new prescription.
I know how that goes.
And my dick was... It was just like this.
10 hot.
And I was like, what is happening with my dick? And then I realized, oh my God, I'm not on the Propecia.
He also did minoxidil.
I saved it though with the minoxidil, and the minoxidil was hanging in there. But after a while, it was like, it was still falling out.
Well, but we both know that minoxidil is not going to prevent your hair loss. It might help stimulate some hair growth, but as far as preventing your hair loss, it's not going to happen. Not every person does tolerate finasteride well, but unfortunately it is one of the only medications that we currently have that's actually proven to work.
We know these side effects can be distressing, but there are things we can do. We can help adjust the dose, or we can prescribe topical finasteride, which is showing very good results.
I think the most important thing is to be in constant communication with your surgeon or your hair loss doctor.
Absolutely. So for people like Joe, who do not tolerate finasteride very well and are progressing very rapidly at a young age, unfortunately, you are not a good candidate for transplant surgery.
Shave it, bitch. Just deal with that. Just accept the fact that you don't have any hair.
And for those people, there are things you can do to help your overall appearance. Because at the end of the day, that's actually what we're looking for. We're looking for a good aesthetic appeal. Now, if that means having a great head of hair, fantastic. But sometimes it means shaving it off. And if you look at Joe, he's a handsome guy. very masculine features, we would have always advised him to shave his hair because he would look great with it.
I like having a shaved head. It's so easy.
Yeah.
So I got a good head for it. I look better with a shaved head than I did with,
round.
especially with the hair that I had left.
But not everyone does, unfortunately. Like if you look at a guy like Elon Musk, I guarantee you he would not look great with shaved hair. But Elon Musk is like a champion of hair loss progression. Firstly, he's had the genetics play in his favor, that he hasn't progressed so rapidly. I'm certain that he's been on hair loss medication like finasteride, and he also has had 2 or 3 hair transplant procedures that went very well.
So what Asi is saying is that people may require 2 to 3 hair transplants to patch up that progressive hair loss, even if they are on DHT blockers. One more thing I wanted to add about Joe is that he's openly admitted to using steroid hormones.
Don't forget that if you up the levels of testosterone in your body, you'll also up the levels of dihydrotestosterone. And if you're genetically prone to losing your hair, this will also increase the rate at which you lose your hair.
So taking testosterone will accelerate your hair loss.
If you're prone to balding.
I had a hair transplant. That was the dumbest thing I've ever done.
So, Eric, why do you think it was the dumbest thing he's ever done?
Well, going through 3 FUT surgeries is intense, to say the least.
So where do you get it from? Like other
They
parts?
take it from the back of your head. They take a strip off the back of your head. I have this giant scar on the back of my head. It looks like a smile.
With FUT surgery, remember, as Joe Rogan says, they cut out a piece of meat from the back of his head and then kind of dissect up that piece and implant it into his balding area. Now, he's done that 3 times. And,
He talks about getting knocked unconscious. I mean, maybe he went under general anesthetic to do so.
Not something we typically do for FUT, but it is definitely possible.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's quite an intense operation.
And it takes a while to recover from it. Recovery time from FUT is at least 2 weeks and could be up to a month, if not more.
Yeah, and it holds a high risk for infection and other potential side effects.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that if Joe had FUE surgery, if it was available back then, I don't think he would have regretted it as much because, so he's had 3 FUE surgeries. They didn't quite work out.
They're quite painless.
He didn't go through a huge amount of trauma and he's not left with a huge nasty scar at the back of his head. Albeit he will have tiny little dot scars, but, those could be easily hidden with some micropigmentation. And again, he didn't go through a lot of pain.
Now the way they do it, in a lot of places they do it differently. They do one individual follicle at a time.
Joe Rogan here is explaining FUE surgery or follicular unit extraction, and we believe that this technique has revolutionized the hair transplant industry.
Yeah, guys, it's a much more popular option these days because it's much less painful, it's much less invasive, and the downtime is a lot shorter. And you also get great results.
Yeah, that's true. So not everyone will get the same results. And in fact, results are dependent on a multitude of factors.
People with thick hair follicles can get away with it. Like my hair would have looked way better, but I have thin hair. The hairs themselves are thin. So if someone has thick hair, they could have some pretty dramatic result if it's the right kind of thinning.
Yeah, that's true. So some of them might be like the thickness of the hair, like Joe explains.
Yes.
Density of the grafts, the color of your hair.
Yeah.
The quality of your hair.
Yeah, and also individual patient factors, like are you a heavy smoker?
Absolutely.
Are you a heavy drinker?
Are you diabetic?
Do you have certain medical conditions? All of these will come into play when looking at your final end result.
And of course, the quality and experience of your team.
Exactly. Okay, guys, so today with technology the way it is, we can still help people who are not high-grade boulders, okay? So if you're a Norwood 1 through 4, maybe 5, we could probably help you get a natural-looking result from a hair transplantation. But, Eric, what do we do with the cases that are Norwood 6, Norwood 7s, and, even the mythical Norwood 8?
Well, at the moment, unfortunately, we cannot operate on them, and we do not.
Yeah.
But I think the future is bright. And what excites me the most, to be honest, is the cloning. Cloning of individual follicles, which you can replicate to the thousands, and then transplant them, and
Yeah.
you can get tens of thousands of hairs if you want to.
Yeah.
So basically all it requires is taking about 10 follicles, cloning them, and then being able to transplant that. And I don't think that's too far away, and yeah, it's really exciting. And there's also some other options.
There's some stem cell therapy that's looking promising, although it's not 100% there yet.
Yeah.
And also some exosome or gene therapy, where we could actually go and correct the genetic abnormalities that lead to balding. But I think that is still far away. And even if they do get it right, who knows what other things that gene codes
And
for.
I don't think people want to take any sort of treatment,
Yeah, I think people want a one-off fix.
which is cloning, I believe.
Let's hope it
The
gets there.
future is with clones.
I mean, yeah,
Mark my words.
if the clones work, we could even get Joe Rogan a full head of hair again.
That's
I
for
bet he
sure.
won't refuse that.
So that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, guys, if you like this video or videos like this, please like, share, and subscribe. And please ask us questions. We're always happy to answer them.
See you next time.
Bye. Dum, 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 dum.